According to Juan de Placenia, Tagalog communities were organized into small independent groups called barangays. Each barangay was led by a datu who served as both the chief and military leader. The people respected and obeyed the datu, especially in times of war and community decision-making. These barangays were usually small, ranging from less than 30 to about 100 households, and they often formed alliances with other barangays when needed. Tagalog society was divided into three main classes. First were the nobles, known as the Maharlika. They were free individuals who did not pay tribute but were expected to support the datu in wars and community activities. In return, they share in war spoils and community resources. Next were the commoners, called aliping namamahay. They live in their own homes and own properties. But they serve their masters by giving part of their harvest and helping in tasks such as rowing boats. Despite this, they still had certain rights, and their children inherited their status. Lastly, there were the slaves, known as aliping gigilar. They worked in their masters' households and fields and could be bought or sold. Many of them became slaves through war or debt.
Born in 16th century, Juan de Plasencia came from well-known Portocarrero family in Plasencia, a place in the region of Extremadura, Spain. He grew up during the time called Siglo de Oro or Golden Age, when arts and literature became popular in many parts of Spain, including Extremadura, where he was born. He was one of the 7 children of Pedro Portocarrero, who was a captain of Spanish schooner. His real name was Friar John de Puerto Carrero, from the convent of Villanueva de la Serena. He was a Spanish friar belonging to the Franciscan order. Because of this, Juan de Plasencia came to the first group of Franciscan missionaries to the Philippines. He was given the task by the King of Spain to write about the customs and traditions of Tagalog, based on what he observed. And because of this, he wrote the Customs of Tagalogs.
Social class bias. The author shows social class bias by using a Western mindset to label Filipinos as nobles or slaves. He describes the aliping sa guigilir as property that can be sold instead of seeing them as human beings. By calling the master generous, he justifies their power and simplifies the Tagalog society into just system of masters and workers. So basically, kaya ito social class bias kasi tinitingnan lang ni Plasencia ang mga ninuno natin based sa status at trabaho na is naintindihin ang totoong kultura, ginagamit niya yung ang mindset ng mga taga-Europe para tawagin property o gamit lang ang mga alipin natin.
The master grants them, should he see fit, and providing that he profited through their industry, a portion of their harvest, so that they may work faithfully. The author shows paternalistic and social class bias by describing the relationship between the master and the servants in the way that makes inequality seems acceptable. The line says, the master grants part of the harvest only if he wants to, and only if he benefits from their work. This makes master looks like kind and generous instead of showing that he control over the workers, labors, and the rewards. Because of this, the inequality system treated normal, and the dependence of the servants of the master is shown.
Political bias. The author shows the political bias by describing the customs of the Tagalogs through a colonial or foreign political perspective. He interprets their practices and social rules as if they follow a rigid system similar to Western forms of authority. For example, he may present the role of the datu as having absolute control over the people, which does not fully reflect how leadership actually worked within Tagalog communities, where customs were often guided by mutual respect and consultations. Because of this, the author misrepresents Tagalog customs by viewing them through an external political lens instead of understanding them within their own cultural and social context.
Cultural bias. The author shows cultural bias by using a Western perspective to describe Tagalog society. He labels as peoples, nobles, and slaves, which does accurately reflect the true culture of Tagalogs. For example, he described the aliping as failure as property, which is based on Western ideas of slavery. Because of this, the author misrepresents Tagalog's society by applying a foreign viewpoint instead of understanding its own context.
Racial bias. The author shows racial bias by classifying the Tagalog people using foreign racial categories. For example, he states that they are classed by their language among the Malay nations, which reflects a European way of grouping people based on race and language. This kind of labeling doesn't fully represent how the Tagalogs understood their own identity. Because of this, the author misrepresents them by applying external and racial framework instead of describing them within their own cultural context.